Hello and welcome to another patch note reading, this time for patch 7.1 Crossroads, that's coming out on the 12th of November 2024. These notes were posted today, the 8th of November, on a Friday, so we have plenty of time to look at them. So Crossroads then, as they say in the top here, Futures Rewritten will be scheduled to release in 7.11, so not 7.1 obviously. A new custom delivery client, Nitawikwe, will be also added with Waku Makimeki quests and the Hildebrand Adventures side quest, which is scheduled for patch 7.15. Additionally, for patch 7.15 is the Cloud of Darkness Chaotic, and of course, the additional role quests are scheduled for release in patch 7.16, which I believe they originally said was around January. So just so you know what's not in this patch. So first of all, what have we got? The new MSQ will be added in patch 7.1. We get two images here that we've seen from the trailer, with Kona there with the cracked glass, and of course with Wuklamat looking at the memorial for Sphene. This quest will start by a royal invitation into Lialal with the NPC Bol Waruk, and it seems there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 MSQ quests by the looks of it this time around, so presumably somewhere in there we'll also unlock the MSQ dungeon. Additionally, then let's move on. When a new main scenario quest will become available in the vicinity, its position is now indicated on the minimap. This is a quality of life change to make it easier to progress without having to open your map, things like that. You can just have a quick glance and go, it's that way. Very cool. I like that addition. Chronicles of a New Era quest then. So the Echoes of Vanadil Alliance raid storyline begins. As you can see, this does look like a field instance as well as an actual Alliance raid itself. We have what looks like Lower Juno explorable to some degree. And then we have a second image there of Preesh looking pretty happy and looking up to the sky. This also appears to be in Tulialal, as you can kind of guess, with the rock, the vegetation, and the Pelu Pelu tent there. And it starts with an otherworldly encounter in Tulialal with the Hubigo Messenger. And it looks like you need to complete Dawntrail MSQ first. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 4 quests for the Alliance raid. For this particular wing. There'll be another 2 in the future, obviously, but this is the first wing. The second quest says players must first have completed the New Era quest for Chronicles of New Era, an otherworldly encounter, to be able to do the second one. So there we go. There's also a new quest added to wrap up the Pandemonium storyline. It's the epilogue. It says a present from the present. This is in Old Charlian from the Affable Researcher. You must have also finished Guided by the Past. So you must have already done all of the Pandemonium series of storyline and raids to actually see this, but who knows what the reward will be. The Pelu Pelu Allied Society quests have been added. This obviously feature used to be called Beast Tribes back in the day. It is no longer called that. It's called Allied Society quests, and this is the newest one. It looks like we've got what looks like a sun drop dance mixed with something else there going on with the Pelu Pelu and the Hanu Hanu. And then we've got this image here of a character wearing a very snazzy chest piece there. That'd be cool if we got that. And there's an alpaca. So the Allied Society settlement then, they've added a new one. So as you can see here in Kozama Uka at Dock Poga, there's actually a new aetheryte added here for the, the society quests themselves. So there's an extra aetheryte. And as you can see, that's what Dock Poga looks like. Presumably it will be upgraded over time or something like that, similar to how they've done it before, but we'll have to wait and see. You can unlock this into Lialal from the blue garbed Pelu, and you must have completed Dawntrail to actually do this. So, yeah. As if you didn't already know, they're basically giving daily quests, and then there's a lockout, and then you can do, more quests the next day. Basically, there's a reputation faction with this, and the higher you push the reputation faction, the more items you unlock, and the further you progress the storyline. So, as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6, which makes sense. There's usually 7 ranks. So that makes perfect sense that we'd have 6 quests. It also has quest sync, so if there's any of your characters and any of your jobs that you haven't leveled up combat-wise, you can actually level those up as well. It's a combat-related one. So there's actually an Allied Society currency. They're Pelu Pelu Pelplumes. That's the new currency by doing your daily quests, and they can be exchanged in Dock Poga for a variety of items. Those items increase depending on your reputation. The following additions and adjustments have been made to quest progression settings. So it says the options to hide nearby players will no longer hide friends by default. In accordance with this change, the also hide nearby party members setting has been changed to also hide nearby party members and friends. That's a cool change. Having it default that your friends are still there, but everyone else isn't there is probably a good idea. And you can change this in the settings. It says when the hide nearby players when close to NPCs setting is enabled, interacting with a non-quest NPC or object will no longer cause nearby players to reappear. Okay, so that's another thing that they fixed. Very nice to hear. The following adjustments have been made to quest completion. So essentially, if you press the complete button and there's multiple rewards as an option, instead of it actually going like this quest cannot be completed because you need to select a thing, it pops up a second box that you can select the reward from, and then you can click that and then press complete. I suppose that's an interesting quality of life change. I had no problem with the error message and going, oh, I need to click something. But I have seen Sprouts, I've seen them live stream where they've not understood the text or not read the text. So literally putting this box in front of them after they've pressed just a complete button actually isn't a bad idea. It's pretty cool, actually. We won't use it probably, like I won't, but I know for a fact that some people will go, oh, it's asking me to select a reward. It's just this nice little bridge, isn't it? It's unnecessary, but it's also kind of thoughtful. I like it. The following adjustments have been made to the duty list. Up to 10 duties can now display simultaneously. The number of duties displayed can be adjusted from the HUD tab of the character configuration window. Up to 5 duties are set to display simultaneously by default. So if you want to, you can change that to 10. Icons in the duty list can now be selected to perform emotes or open the crafting log in quests from the 6.5x patch series and earlier. So if you're unfamiliar with this, usually there'd be a quest list and then there'd be an icon on that. It's like, I don't know, dance for Wuklamat, and you'd click the button and then your character would dance rather than you having to go into the character settings, your emote section, all that stuff, or having it on your bar. This will be applied for 6.5x patch series and earlier. Certain quests may not support this feature. So some of the older quests that have similar interactions, now you can just click the button rather than going through the emote list. Very helpful. It says when using a controller, the cursor will no longer remain on the duty list after selecting an icon to complete a quest objective. Until now, the cursor would remain on the duty list, meaning players would sometimes unintentionally use emotes and key items when attempting to select the confirm button. This adjustment is designed to prevent this issue. That's really cool. When carrying out Tradecraft guild leaves, icons in a duty list can now be selected to open the crafting log. That's cool. I like that. Just ease of use, nice quality of life changes, things that will be so baked into our memory when we start using them like this that we won't even question it anymore, that it was ever not like this. When accessing the map from the journal or duty list, the icon of a selected quest will now be prioritized over other icons on the map. This is great. More often than not, when you've accepted, multiple things and you're doing multiple quests, sometimes it can be difficult to know which one's which, especially if they're overlapped. And if this is going to prioritize that, it means that you can choose one specifically while still tracking all the rest of them, and it will be above them, like layer-wise. It says, as an exception, Aetheryte icons will be prioritized over quest icons. So that's still the caveat to that. So if there's an MSQ quest next to an Aetheryte, next to a 50 other quests, you're still going to have the Aetheryte in a way to click on because they want you to have that accessibility to teleport easily. But it's cool. New chapters have been added to New Game Plus. This is for Dawntrail Part 1 and Part 2. Completing the main scenario quest Dawntrail will unlock both parts in New Game Plus. Very cool. That's how you unlock Dawntrail then, just completing all of Dawntrail. The tank quests for role quests in Dawntrail have been added to New Game Plus, as well as the DPS and healer quests. And we've also got the Pandemonium Epilogue, which is the new quest we talked about earlier. That's also in New Game Plus. The Duty tab of the Unending Journey will now be categorized by expansions. That's a nice, neat and tidy update. And fates. So new items are available in exchange for bicolor gemstones. So if you're capping your bicolor gemstones, or you've got near cap, you'll be able to go to the gemstone trader NPCs in each area, it says, and there'll be new items. So if you're wanting to get orchestral rolls, or maybe there might be furniture, emotes, that kind of thing, who knows what there might be. It might be a good time before the patch comes out this weekend to go and get some gemstones to save yourself some time in the future. Treasure Hunt. The rewards for the Brak skin treasure maps have been adjusted, so there's new items. Same for Senate Jaja Gural, which is the other treasure map dungeon. Essentially, this is going to be new crafted stuff. There's a few new recipes added, maybe some new glamour. We'll see at the end of this patch note reading. So if you want to get that stuff, you want to do the treasure maps, might be a good idea to stock up on the maps, because they've got new updates. The Ground and Free Companies. So it says new nautical maps have been added, new areas have been added, new items, and maximum submersible rank has been increased from 120 to 125. That means new dive locations and new rewards. So usually there's like a minion or a mount or something like that from a dive location, usually a minion. And there's also like glamour, housing items, that kind of thing. So if you're into your submersible and other things in Ground and Free Companies, you can totally make the most of that again. Housing then. So this is the new thing. This is the interior design of an estate can be changed. So as you can see, this new window allows you to basically change your house to any other style from any other location in the game. So even if you lived, let's say, in the Mist, you would have access to the Highland style or the Far Eastern style that usually you would either get in Ishgard or obviously in the Far Eastern style from Shirogane. So you no longer have to be like, oh, it's Mist, therefore the interior design is Mist. However, there's also the new minimalist style, which you might have seen, which is basically getting rid of the pillars. It also has this beautiful sort of modernist look to it. They show a mid-sized plot here where they've redesigned the location of the stairs and things. Looks really cool, but there are some caveats. Players must have furnishing placement authorization, so you need to be the leader or an officer or whoever's got the rights to renovate the interior of a private estate. In the case of free company estates, you must also have hall remodeling authorization. So if you go on the menu here for housing, you'll see we've got our remodeling section. In addition to new interior designs, you may also choose a design originating from any housing area. Furthermore, you're free to change your estate's interior design as many times as you like. Please note, however, that all furnishings will automatically be placed in the storeroom. The interior design cannot be changed if your estate storeroom possesses insufficient space. Oh dear. Interior fixtures will not be changed. So if you're like me and you've placed a lot of items, but you've placed a lot of items in the storage, you're going to have to either clear your storage out because it'll store all of the items in there, or you're going to have to take all of the items out of your house and put them in your inventory or something on your retainer. It's a little bit of a problem, but I really want that minimalist style, so it looks like we're redesigning our design completely. A few people will be put off by that, especially considering there's no like infinite storeroom for a limited time or something. It's literally the storeroom. So there we go. New furnishings, since we're talking about housing, from 2019 and 2022 from the furnishing design contests. Entries that did not win have also been selected to serve as new furnishings. So this is cool. Let's do a little bit of a zoom in. So first of all, we've got this bed here. We've got this kind of like canopy thingy with the ivy or plants. We've got a nice new bench here. It's another flower carpet, but it's a grass carpet for indoors. That's cool. So you can touch grass inside your own house. I think a lot of people need to do that these days. Nice little cupboard here. I think that might be a false cupboard though, right? It seems to be pressed up against the wall. I don't see much depth unless it's missing from the image here. Little trolleys and things. Now we've also got like a corner bookshelf seated area. That's cute. These curtains, nice and symmetrical. A pair of those. What looks like a vending machine, but I think it's just like a spice rack. sweeties and a new fireplace. Very cool, like a pizza oven. This is cool. So these are also indoor items. We've got a climbing wall. If only we could climb it. Like a digital panel over here, I think. A pool table or billiards table, that might be. That's awesome. And also a boxing ring, which I actually tried to remake one of these because of obviously the Arcadian introduced that. It's actually quite difficult. There's a lot of parts that need to be put down, especially for the ropes. But we've got an item for that, and a new sort of patchwork quilt-esque sofa and a dartboard. So there's lots of things that I didn't think we'd ever see in Eorzea that we've got there. Outdoors items, we've got this kind of like almost like a chocobo stable, but it's seating and some sort of rock crazy paving. Very cool. New furnishings outside of the design contest have been added. We've got ourselves the satchel placed on the floor, and then we've got this sort of scholastic theme. We've got what appears to be a chemistry table here with all kinds of implements and vials and things. We've got a blackboard, very cool, and then we've also got these seats and chairs, which look to be separate items because one of them is tilted. That's cool. If you wanted to recreate the Ishgard Scholastica, you could. And then there's this beautiful tree. Very beautiful. I love that. It looks like it's very glowy for outdoors areas. There's new orchestra and roles, obviously, in this patch. And the location and duty names previously omitted to prevent spoilers will now be displayed. So it seems like the 7.0 stuff is no longer classed as a spoiler. New aquarium fish have been added. That looks really cool, like an arowana or something. New paintings have been added. So, of course, this is because the sightseeing log for Dawntrail, if you saw my recent video telling you to go and do the sightseeing log and showing you how to do it, I said on those it would be really cool to see some of these finally added to the Joyous Painter. It seems today is our day for patch 7.1 then, because visiting the Joyous Painter will give you these completed sightseeing log entries as paintings. As you can see, that's the one with the weird birds in Shaloni. That's that beautiful place in Yaktel, in fact, that I mentioned that I loved the place of, Tulialol. Really nice. I do want to put some of those up in my house. There's a new seed for flower pots. This is the Cattleya? Don't know what that is. It looks a little bit like a lily. You can probably bet that there's a headpiece, like a corsage for this, like a Cattleya corsage as well. So that's another thing if you want to go craft that. Of various different types. But of course you need to plant the seeds, which you can get usually from New Gridania in Tani. So there we go. Gold Saucer then. New prizes are available for purchase using MGP. Don't forget that you'll be able to, in addition to whatever else there is, there's also the voice packs for MGP for the Doman Mahjong. The following additions have been made to Trouble Triad. So there are new cards, as we can see here, from the new Fate monsters. And we've also got the new NPC opponents for Trouble Triad have been added. So presumably new areas, like the tribal area, the society quest area, rather, they'll have new cards available and new people to beat. Regional rules will now apply to matches in Mare Lamentorum. And as we talked about the character voices, we talked about this in the special site video. Essentially, you've got a choice of different Scions of the Seventh Dawn, voicing your different pulls and wins and victories and losses in Doman Mahjong, a game I still don't really understand how to play. To unlock these designated character voices, the corresponding item is required. These items can be acquired after completing the side quest. Every little thing she does is Mahjong, which unlocks that. The main scenario quest Heavensward, and speaking with the Debordier in the Gold Saucer, Debordier, okay, and exchanging MGP. All right. Additional character voices will become available by progressing through the main story. So, presumably, a few of the Scions are locked behind that progression. It says enabling voices. Open the Gold Saucer menu and navigate to the Mahjong tab. Under Mahjong character voices, you may enable or disable the feature or select the desired character to be used during matches. The selected character voice and accompanying portrait will not play or display for other players. Okay, so it's just for you. And as you can see, there is a button that goes across. So there are, 2 pages of this to begin with. We've got Alphino, Alice, we've got Thancred, Oriange, Ishtola, We've got Estinian, Graha. Hopefully there's, Tartaru, maybe other characters. It'd be cool to see what's on the second page. A help button has been added to the Mahjong tab of the Gold Saucer menu for easy access to the rules of this Doman pastime. So the information provided is the same that is covered by the Mahjong tutor. Yeah, I might have to look into it again. It looks like they're putting a lot of budget into Mahjong, so maybe it's a good idea for me to look into it. A new section covering character voices has also been added to that tutorial. Very cool. So now we're on to the miscellaneous. The following additions have been made to duty support. There are obviously new duties. Additionally, Halatali for A Realm Reborn for duty support is the first of the new optional dungeons that was obviously not an MSQ quest. So Halatali is now doable with duty support, and as a result of that has been changed significantly. We need to go in, test that when the patch goes live to see how significant, but you can imagine any mechanics that are too fixated around player interaction will probably be changed to make it so that NPCs can do it effectively. We've also got duty support for the new dungeon added in the MSQ Yuyuwata Field Station. Duties that will be supported in future updates will now be displayed in a duty support window. Very cool. The following additions and adjustments have been made to Wondrous Tales. So obviously there are newer prizes for Chloe's gold, silver and bronze certificates. And the positions of Chloe's silver certificate of accommodation. So of silver ×3, Chloe's gold have been switched in the 3 lines tier of a reward list. Okay. As a result of this change, players level 60 to 99 may now select Chloe's gold certificate of commendation as a reward for completing 3 lines in the Wondrous Tales journal. This is really cool. This means that instead of having to be max level to get the best rewards, if you get 3 lines, which is very rare, you now only have to be level 60. That's really, really good. The following duties have been added to Wondrous Tales, which is obviously Arcadion, M1, or M2, M3, or M4. And the following raids have been grouped together into raid series. So now it's Asphodelos 1st to 4th, Abyssos 5th to 8th, and Abasios 9 to 12. Yeah, the usual things. And the same with your completion of dungeons for... So on the Wondrous Tales, you'll see leveling dungeons level 1 to 49, etc. Okay, the following additions and adjustments have been made to Faux Hollows. The Unreal Trial feature is no longer disabled, and now we have a brand new one, which is the Jade Stoa Unreal. If you want to go and collect yourself some faux leaves, then this is what you can get this time around. This will be market tradable. This is a brand new Kamoi, and it appears to be a green-yellow Kamoi. So if that's interesting to you, then that will be obtainable with faux leaves, exchanging those. Probably, 500 or something like that. Or from a market board when someone else sells it. So, Gil, save it up, or go and do faux leaves via Unreal. If you've already got some faux leaves, you will be able to exchange for this immediately, if you still have some of those. Even though there hasn't been a Unreal for a while, if you have leaves, you can use them. So, duties that can be recorded has changed. So now we can finally film the M4S and Interphos, as well as Warcall, Dor, and Thalia. A little bit late. I still don't understand the reason for the duty recorder feature. It doesn't really serve a purpose when you can't record something brand new. It doesn't allow you to analyze that stuff. You're still better off with third-party recording outside of the game and then look back at your own footage to see what you did wrong. It would have been nice if this feature could have been included to current content. Hopefully in the future they can think about that, because it's kind of useless in my opinion. The Show on Map subcommand has been added to the sightseeing log to allow players to review the location of recorded spots. Oh, cool, that's nice. So if you wanted to see where was that location I went to, you can click a button and it'll show you on the map. New hairstyle then, inspired by the Final Fantasy XIV hairstyle design contest in 2023. So this is what it looks like, shown here. Not my cup of tea personally, but some of you are probably going to be digging that. Sort of kind of like wavy fringe. Not my cup of tea. But it's cool. It's cool that they've added that from 2023's hairstyle design contest. Let me know what you think about that. There's also new hairstyle options added for Vieira. As you can see, these do appear to be different short hairstyles. Obviously, different fringes there. Very cool. And we've also got for Rothgar as well. We've got this hairstyle here with this obvious bang here. And then we've got this weird cut at the back there. All right, well, if you're interested in those, there you go. Different hairstyles have been added for male and female characters. So in addition to this, you will probably, if these are unique, which I don't think they are, you'll be able to have them on other characters as well. So this is a good one. So this is all about emotes. So this is a brand new emote. This is a shaker emote. You know how I was saying emotes I would love to have, and it was the bartender? I was like, oh, cool. How cool would it be if we could shake and make a drink? Looks like we're getting that mixology. Oh, the fates have aligned. That's really, really cool for RP. A lot of people are going to be happy with that. The following emotes can now be used when sitting on the ground. So on the ground, our upper body will move, but nothing else. We've got welcome, Eastern greeting, joy, soothe, hand to heart, pet, horschiffon, very cool. Snap, shocked, surprised, aback, point, stretch, me, shush, salute, lally-ho, happy, comfort, cheer, fist bump, toast, cry, shrug, slap, examine self, poke, air quotes, spectacles, and link pearl. This is awesome, especially for making videos or taking pictures. This is going to be great because there's not many things you can do while sitting on the ground, and it's nice they've expanded that. The motion of the following emotes has also been adjusted when sitting on the ground, so we've also got greeting. So they've changed the ones that did work before, probably to look a little bit better. Very cool. Very happy with that, especially in a new emote. Wow, that's going to be awesome. The job HUD explanations for Black Mage and Viper have been updated. New dungeon, Yuyawata Field Station. This is 690 average item level or above, added to the game. And of course, this is unlocked through the MSQ. That's why they're not showing you what quest it is. So follow the MSQ to unlock that. The drop rate for minions found in the final treasure chest of the following dungeons has been increased. So Kistis Hyperborea, the Aishascope, and the Dead End. So if you are still after your Starbird, you might have a better chance now. I see some people saying, I will never do that dungeon again. I've done it so many times and I've never seen that blue bird. Well, Meteon shall be in your possession very soon, if this is to be believed. Depends how much it's been increased by, but there we go. New trial has been added. This is Sveen Extreme, Sveen's Burden. This is 710, average item level or above. And of course, you needed to have completed Dawntrail to be able to access this, because it makes the most sense. And do a quick visit to the Wandering Minstrel in Tulialal, be a level 100, Disciple of War and Magic, and you can unlock this. Items obtained upon completion can be exchanged for gear by speaking with Ushepya in Solution 9. So there's usually totems you can exchange for the items, right? Is it weapons this time? I don't know. Surely it's weapons, not accessories. Jade Stower Unreal, obviously 695 average item level, unlocked via the fantastic Mr. Foe questline in Idleshire. Typical restrictions. The weekly restriction on rewards in Arcadian Light Heavyweight Division have been removed. So if you want to go and get as much loot as you possibly want to from normal mode Arcadian, you totally can. This, however, does not apply to the light heavyweight hollow blade in M4 normal. Okay, but the number of those that are required for a universal tombstone to actually upgrade your weapon has been reduced from 7 to 4. So now your alt jobs are going to have a much easier time if you still need a weapon for them. Or if you haven't done this before. Very cool. New Alliance Raid Dungeon, Juno the First Walk, has been added. 695 average item level. And this is unlocked via the Otherworldly Encounter quest that starts in Tulialal at the Hubigo Messenger. You will be able to do what you normally do. The reward eligibility is reset every Tuesday, and you can receive only one reward item per week for completing this. So if you go in there and you roll need on a chess piece, that is you for the week. You will not get anything else. Aside from the last boss, which usually has triple triad cards and a minion and sometimes an outfit chest, if that's the same as the Nia stuff. So you will still be able to farm for that. Subsequent times in the same week, even past your item roll for a piece of armor. However, that piece of armor is one per week. So choose wisely if you still need stuff. And this applies to greed as well. Even if you win something, that is you done for the week. And yeah, each part in the alliance receives its own treasure chest. We know all of this. Upon completion, we also get an Ordell coin. That's what they're calling it. This is a new currency that you can exchange to upgrade and enhance items purchased with Allegan Tomestones of Heliometry. So if you're still needing some twines, for example, for your left side, or I guess your right side stuff, then you can totally get those, the shines and twines, basically. If you're doing Savage and you normally get those, like a couple of people in my raid group are still after a couple of twines, this is the great way of doing it. Orchestra and rolls. Tattered sheet music found in a treasure chest of Juno the First Walk can be exchanged. So presumably this is Final Fantasy XI music. Very cool. Definitely want to collect that. The items required to enhance equipment purchased with Allegan Tomestones of Heliometry, the Surgelight Twine and Surgelight Solvent, can be purchased from the following vendors. So if you don't want to do Juno at all, but you want the access to the upgrade materials, you can actually do it with sacks of nuts now. So if you've got lots of sacks of nuts, you can exchange those instead. Go do your hunts, your daily hunts and things, or you can do and get your Ordell coins from your alliance raid once per week. Yeah, and then you just upgrade as usual at the vendor. The following additions have been made to Raid Finder. New duties have been added, so Sven's Burden and Jade Stow are Unreal. And Chaotic Alliance Raid has a new category. Only the icons have been added in 7.1. The category itself cannot currently be selected, and new duties will be added in a future update, which is scheduled, I believe, for Christmas Eve, the 24th of December. Interesting. The following duties have been moved to Duty Finder, which is Warcore La Door and Everkeep Extreme. I always get that wrong. Added to the Duty Finder, obviously. The options displayed when speaking with a wandering minstrel in Tulialal to unlock duties have been adjusted, whatever that means, maybe in order or display. And players will now receive the power of the Echo in the event all party members are incapacitated in Warcore La Door and Everkeep, not Queep, and Interfos. Each time players restart the aforementioned trials, they'll be granted 10% Echo. This is up to a maximum of 50%. On the Extreme version, this is 5% per wipe, up to a maximum of 25%. So if you're still struggling with the extremes, or you want to do mount farms, and maybe you don't care and you die a couple of times, you're going to get the Echo. So you are pretty much, if you know what you're doing, to some degree, you can brute force it. So that's cool. The duties listed within Duty Roulette Expert have been updated. Now we have 4 in Expert Roulette, as well as Alexandria, Tender Valley, the Stabra, Deadwalk, and Yuyawata Field Station. So we've got a choice of 4 now. Well, a chance of 4 from the roulette. The required average item level for Expert Roulette, however, has been increased to 690 from 670. So make sure you upgrade your gear. Mentor Roulette has Juno the First Walk and Yuyawata Field Station, and is 695 average item level required. Obviously, Sven's Burden's been added to Stone Sky Sea. If you want to practice against that, against a target dummy, you can do that. Adjustments have been made to the following instance dungeons. So obviously Halatali has been updated because of the new duty support for that, the first of its kind for that optional dungeon to be added to duty support. So Firemane's boss battle has been completely adjusted. The Thunderclap Guyvre boss battle has been adjusted. Never knew how to say that. And the Tangata boss battle has been adjusted. So the whole thing's been reworked to make it so that the NPCs can do the mechanics. So it'll be interesting to see what's changed. Obviously, the Hall of a Novice has been updated. Tactical training exercises have been added to better familiarize players with battle mechanics. They say through tactical training, players will have a chance to learn about various party mechanics, enemy attacks, and effect markers commonly seen when undertaking duties. So this combat guide found in the Hall of a Novice also offers a brief overview of those topics. Yeah, we saw that on the live letter. There's basically like a pop-up menu, and it's like a help menu. It's almost like a bestiary of abilities. It's really cool, actually. After completing tactical training exercises 1 through 3, you'll receive a ring. Oh, that's the reward. That grants increased experience points to Disciples of War and Magic up to level 60. It's nice to see another EXP ring added. Will this... I guess it would stack with the earring, right? That's going to be interesting. That might be worthwhile for any new sprout, new player. Go do the Hall of a Novice. That's a nice incentive. Very nice. Undertaking the training exercises. So, after completing the main scenario quest, Heart on Fire, speak with a smith at an adventurer's guild at level 49 Disciple of War or Magic. Oh, interesting. You may also access these exercises via Hall of a Novice under the duty selection of the main menu. Yeah, anywhere in the world, right? The option Display Completed Exercises in Hall of a Novice window has been replaced with Display All Exercises. So it's much cleaner interface, gives you, EXP, quite a lot of it, by the looks of it, if that's level 49, some gil, and ultimately a ring, which is actually pretty good. Pretty great. It's probably going to be a 10% ring, something like that. Very nice. So now we're on to PvP, the timing of which certain PvP action effects trigger has been changed. Hit detection of PvP actions have been adjusted to better match visual effects striking a target. So certain actions will continue to register hits after the time of execution. So there are some caveats to that. But PvP as a whole should feel more responsive if they've done it as they've described. It remains to be seen. We need to test that at length. And I'll probably be testing that on live streams. I do love PvP. I'll probably be going for the ranking this time around. I wonder how much better it feels and which exceptions there are. It'll be interesting. Series 6 ends. So series, just as a preview, because people sometimes don't know what series is. Series is any PvP. And then we've got the rankings, the season, which is your ranked stuff. So for any PvP done now at the launch of patch 7.1 until the release of patch 7.2 in the future, you can earn EXP by doing PvP. And you can exchange those items basically for trophy crystals on the Malmstone rewards window, on the PvP window. One of the rewards appears to be this outfit that we saw on the special site the other day. There's usually a mount, there's usually minions, and there's usually portrait frames. So there we go. They do say rewards from Series 6 can only be claimed until the end of Series 7. You will not be able to earn those rewards from the previous series, but you will if you've already unlocked them. You'll be able to go back and claim them if you forgot to claim them. But that's basically the only reason. So if you want to get your oppressor mount, you need to do it now, this weekend, ideally before the patch day. Okay? So, for Crystalline Conflict, the time limit for overtime has been reduced from 25 to 10 minutes. A standard match will last 5 minutes, making total match time a maximum of 15 minutes. So, things are a lot shorter now, quite considerably. Victory requirements for overtime have also been changed. The team with greater progress score at the end of overtime will be declared the winner. If both teams have equal progress scores, victory will be awarded to the team that moved the tactical crystal closest to the goal point. That makes sense. If both teams have equal progress scores and the tactical crystal remains at the center of the field, the match will end in a draw. Okay, that makes perfect sense. It seems a little bit clearer now of how victory works. Once overtime has exceeded 5 minutes, the delay until rejoining combat has been increased from 1 to 3 seconds. Okay. System message will now be displayed when the delay time increases, like so. The KO counter displayed during a match has been changed from counting KOs since a player was last defeated to total KOs over the course of a match. I like that change. That's really cool, like a total meter. The KO counter can now also display after the screen fades to black when rejoining combat. That's cool. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the progress gauge, so the time remaining for overtime will now be displayed, and when adjusting the display of your affiliated team, these changes will now be immediately reflected in-game. Very nice. Very cool. All in all, not bad changes, in my opinion. We'll have to see how it plays. Arenas have obviously been changed. As you can see before, we've not got many things to hide behind in that central area. Now there are walls. So that's an interesting tactical change significantly. There's also walls at the ends as well, if you didn't notice that. Round about where the potion is. So, Interesting. Line of sight issues. The spawn location of medicine kits has also been adjusted. Oh, so they're probably not going to be where we remember them. The placement of black chocobo feathers and the pathing of twisters has also been adjusted. Okay. Air turbulence will also now spawn gale spheres. Players who touch a gale sphere will be granted swift sprint. Oh, I see. So if you know, oh, I'm not going to get to that safety area for the chocobo feather, I might as well just shield. You might be able to now, because if you see one of these on the floor, you pick it up and you super sprint towards your destination. This could be the difference to save you from a tornado wipeout or not. Very cool. And then obviously for red sands, they've done the same redesign. So there's before, there's after. So instead of just adding walls, this time what they've done, previously you wouldn't be able to get to these points specifically, like the first crystal point. But now the fast track thing, like the conveyor as I call it, there's actually extra ways of getting to those crystal points. So every point that the crystal needs to go to now has really fast access. So that'll be interesting tactically. You'll probably be flanked a lot more often. Sandpit locations have been reduced from 2 to 1. Sprint zone routes have been expanded. The spawn location of medicine kits has also been changed. Potency of the damage inflicted by heat waves has been reduced from 7,500 to 5,000. And the potency has also been changed for the healing effect after leaving an oasis from 7,500 to 5,000. Potency of the healing effect while standing in the oasis has not been changed. The duration of a barrier effect granted by Accutender has been reduced from 30 to 15 seconds. So all in all, this is quite a big, expansive change to PvP, the way it works and the way the maps work. So it could be make or break. Let's see how much it's changed Crystalline Conflict. The following changes have been made to ranked matches as well. To better facilitate matching, all ranked matches within each physical data center will now be held within a single logical data center. For example, it is Chaos, I believe, for the EU side for this next season. So if you want to do the ranked stuff, you actually have to come over to Chaos from Light. And then I presume in the next season, in the future, we'll be going to Light and vice versa. And I don't know the American one, but yeah, they all have their own specified places. They should be listed somewhere. I think they're on they're on a page, aren't they, from the live letter? Let's show you that. There you go. That's where they are. Anyway, in the event more than one character on the same server's account qualifies to appear in the standings, only the character with the highest tier and crystal credits will be listed. The number of placements to receive rewards has been increased from 100 to 300 in Japan, North America, and Europe. No change has been made to placements in Oceania, and of course that's because Oceania only has one data center. When using the home world transfer service to change to a different home world within the same physical data center, character tiers, risers, and rising stars will no longer be reset. Please note this character data will be reset when changing to a home world within another physical data center. So there you go. You've got to go over to a specified place to do your ranked stuff. This is to encourage players to not make data centers dead. One of many things you'll see in the subsequent patches, this one and ones in the future, where they're trying to make it so that there isn't just Light has everybody on it and Chaos is dead kind of thing. Or name a North American data center like Dynamis. You know, maybe you'll have your PvP ranking hosted on Dynamis, who knows. So there we go. That's what they're doing. The preseason will end and Season 12 begins. Players who finish the preseason above Bronze tier will begin Season 12 at Bronze 3 with 0 rising stars. Season 12 will be hosted in the following day. Oh, well, it's right here. So for Japan, it's Gaia. North America, it's Primal. Europe, it's Chaos. And Oceania, obviously, Materia. Well, there we go. I didn't need to show that page, but there we go. The thought was there. The following additions and adjustments are made to Quick Chat. So now we've got Guard as a button and Purify with Quick Chat options. So they're asking you to guard. So shield up and purify yourself. And good match can now only be used at the end of a match. Is that to prevent people spamming it earlier and going, yeah, good match at the start when they don't like the comp? Yeah, I've seen that happen. Rival Wings then. The following adjustments are made to Hidden Gorge. The fill rate on the limit gauge upon KOing an opponent has been reduced. The fill rate on a limit gauge after an assist has been increased. The HP of Wind-Up Viking, Magus, Gobtank, and Mercenary has been increased, and the following adjustments have been made to Machina HP and actions. I'm not reading all of these out. They've basically buffed the HP of all of the robots. They've reduced some of the cooldown times, and the potency has been increased for majoritively all of their attacks. So there we go. I'll let you read that if you're really interested in the specifics, but it looks like a marginal increase to many of them. But there we go. New items then. So obviously we've got this armor, which is related to the Final Fantasy XI stuff. I think this might be from a weapon, an armor coffer, similar to the 2B attire. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Or this could actually be just, I think it is just a raid gear, isn't it, actually? I wonder what the coffer will have in it then, if there is one. Yeah, this is the raid gear. I forgot. Sorry, forget what I said. So this is all the individual raid gear for each specific job. Looks very cool. I like it. I like Final Fantasy XI stuff, though. The grand prize winning entries for the Final Fantasy XIV weapon design contest have been added. They do say that Reaper and Sage editions have been made by the design team themselves and have also been added. We looked at this in the live letter coverage, and it was really interesting, actually, because they're all like cake themed or culinary, and then there's like random sharks. It looks really, really cool. I love all of these pieces of gear. I can't wait to see them in the game. It doesn't say where they're from. So, but hopefully they're accessible. I would love to get all of them, actually. I don't think there's any that I dislike. I think they're brilliant. I especially love the brush there for Dragoon. And the knives and forks are just amazing for Sage and Ninja. Sharks, oh man, they're all good. Even the bouquet of gun love and the fire dancer, oh, it's so good. We've also got this. This is a new recipe. So this is probably from your, I mean, I've zoomed in, so it's horrible quality, I'm sorry. This is probably crafted from materials obtained in the treasure map dungeons, I would imagine. It reminds me of something North American. I think it's the hat that's doing it. It's we've got this scarf. And yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. It looks cool, doesn't it? Recipes added in 7.1 will be listed here at a later date. This is a big one. The following items can now be equipped regardless of gender. So the Eastern Lords and Eastern Ladies stuff, the Far Eastern Patriarchs and Matriarchs set, the Najar male and female set, which is really big because some of the boots look amazing for the male characters that we can't use on the female characters, and now we can. The Eastern Lords and Eastern Ladies. All of this stuff is some of the last stuff from a cash shop that we haven't had multi-gender access to, and it might be the time for me to look at some of the male outfits and maybe buy them for my character, with the idea that they're now gender unlocked. I love that. I really love it. Every time they do this, it's a good move, and it gives us way more glamour possibilities, so that's great. The icons for Wings of Ruin and Wings of Resolve items have been adjusted. Okay, so just the icons for those two mounts from the previous extremes. Icons for Faces We Wear items, so the face wear are now unified. Okay. The armor now divides items into subcategories within each tab. This is brilliant. This means that if you're looking for that one particular piece, you might have scrolled past it 50 times, went back up the list, went back down. Where are those gallant gauntlets? And they'll be mixed in. Now they're set into categories. This is beautiful. Thank you, Yoshi P and the team. This makes my life so much easier for glamour creation. Amazing stuff. The outfit glamour feature has been added. So if you don't know about this, we can just paraphrase this. Varsity jacket. If it has this icon on it with the plus, this means that those are compatible to be turned into a single item. So let's say the varsity outfit is a 4-piece, as they demonstrate here, okay? If you have all four pieces of this, instead of you storing all 4 pieces separately into the glamour dresser, which takes up 4 slots, if you collect all of them, you can turn them into this icon here. So if they've got that plus next to them, it means they're part of a set, right, that can be consolidated Usually it's level 1 glamour at the moment. They'll add it more in the future. You press a button, it turns all 4 items into one, and then you can store that one item. In this example, it looks like it's a chest, but in actual fact, because there's this box symbol, it's all 4 of these. And then when you go to create a glamour plate, you will still have access to all 4 of those pieces, depending on the slot you've pressed. So if I press helm, the helm will show up as if I had stored the helm. If you go on chest, the chest will show up, and these are still dyeable on your plates. However, the limitation is, obviously, they won't have the dyes on them from before, which means that you won't be able to store them with the dyes, unfortunately. So if they've already got dyes on them, those will be removed, unfortunately, for this process. But I think, considering how many glamour sets you might have that are accessible for this new feature, the outfit glamour, I think it's worth it, because it's going to probably save you, 4-5 piece sets. Times that by 10, you've already freed up more than, a full page nearly. So that's how you create them. That's the principle behind it, as they show. It's really cool, isn't it? Really cool. And there's the male and female, so you can store them as 2 items rather than what would be 8. Very cool stuff. Very nice. And that's the gist of it, really. All items in a set must be of the same quality. That's the other caveat. Entire set of equipment must be stored at the same time to create the outfit. Makes sense. And of course, your dyes will be gone if they already are dyed. I love that feature. So certain items can now be sold, desynthed, or submitted for expert delivery, and sets of items may now be purchased from shops in increments of 999. This is not applicable for some shops and items, okay? And the shop menu UI has been unified. All right, I can't wait to see what that looks like. When crafting, actions can now be executed directly from the calculations window. So if you're calculating if you can do that expert recipe, and it works out that you can actually do the execution of that from that window. Very nice. The following changes have been made to the crafting log. Filter settings have been added to the gathering log, enabling the option of hiding previously gathered items, identifiable by a check mark on their icon. Recipes that do not display a check mark, regardless of completion, will not appear on the list. Ooh, that's cool. The Ixol Society quest category is now hidden by default and must be unlocked by progressing Ixol Society quests. And the order of ingredients for some recipes has been adjusted. So some basic changes there. Some nice quality of life changes. Crafted 710 items can now be upgraded to 720. It's essentially the Everkeep Rain thingy. You can do that whole thing. If you're familiar with how this was done before, it's the same principle. New items have been added to gathering points, obviously. Filter settings have been added to the gathering log, enabling the option of hiding previously gathered items. That's cool. This also applies to items such as collectibles that do not display a check mark after being acquired. So if you just after new stuff you've never recorded, you can toggle this and hide the stuff you've already done. That's especially useful for achievement hunting specific things. Very cool. New fishing holes have been added, new fish. While fishing, the exclamation mark will still display overhead when a fish bites, regardless of whether battle effects have been lifted or disabled. Oh, limited or disabled. Very cool. The level cap for desynth is now 720 from 710. And we got some new mounts. They show off the Sabatender here. I wonder where this is from. I really do. We'll have to wait and see. The listing order for the mount guide has been adjusted, and order is now categorized as organized by category. Should make it easier to find certain mounts then, I'm guessing. Maybe there's like raid mounts and stuff. We'll have to wait and see. New chocobo barding. So this is the newest. This is the Sveen barding from a new extreme. Look at that helmet. Oh, that's so cool. Like a mech suit for your chocobo. I love that. That's really cool. Can't wait to see that in the game. New minions. So we've got Bugs Bunny, literally, and Shaloni, and then a toucan. Oh, they're so cute. I love those. So maybe they're bicolor gemstones. What else could those be? I don't know. Quest rewards, maybe? Very nice. New fashion accessory. So we've already got the satchel. This is a different version of that. A very Pelu design. As you can see, that kind of trader, sort of all of the colors there. Very vibrant. We've got new face wear, which looks like a bandit mask for a cowboy in Shaloni. I love that. Very nice. Some cool stuff. And then we've got system updates in regards to the graphical updates. So if you're familiar with the recent stuff, we covered this. Yoshi P talked about the feedback that players had on character models. They say, in conjunction with these adjustments, players can obtain a file of Fantasia for free from the Wandering Moogle in Old Gridania. This is for a limited time and only lasts until the release of 7.2. So if you want to go and get your free Fantasia, you need to find the Wandering Moogle in Old Gridania, and then there's coordinates there. Very nice. Not going to say no to free. I don't think many of you will either, especially when it comes to Fantasia. Many of us are quite addicted. The following adjustments have been made to certain NPCs. Model quality, texture resolution, and material qualities of faces have been improved. The texture resolution and material qualities of gear have been improved. And the appearance of eyes is now optimized for the character's model environment. Very nice to see. And additionally, the graphical details for the following gear have been improved. So they said they were doing this over time. This is the first set, so we're going with all of the Scion gear, basically. The Scion Rogues. This is the cash shop stuff. So the brand new... Actually, no, not all... yeah, it is all cash shop stuff. Scion Healer, Hearers, all that stuff there. Anything to do with Scions, basically, has been upgraded, which presumably means that because the NPCs are going to be probably wearing the same or reskinned versions, those have been improved as well for the MSQ, so that's cool. Lens transparency has been increased for certain eyewear. So let's see. This is before. We got a little bit of opacity there on the glass, and now it looks like there's no glass. I'm not sure I like this change. I would like a middle between the two. I actually think I prefer it having a bit of you can see the glass to not seeing it all. As somebody who wears glasses in real life, this is more realistic than that, but maybe realism isn't what they're going for. Who knows? Transparency effects have been added to the following gear. So we got the Koga Hakama, Ninja Hakama, Bunny Chief Pumps, Bunny Chief Tights, and the augmented Ninja Hakama. So as you can see here, they're using the bunny outfit, the Bunny Chief outfit. So there's before, quite opaque. It doesn't really have transparency. It doesn't match the skin tones at all. It doesn't even attempt that. And then after, it's matching the skin tones. So this is probably one of the biggest changes. The way that tights and transparent gear worked before this expansion wasn't as not even remotely accurate. This is beautiful. I'm not sure why there are tears in the tights. I don't remember there being tears in the tights there, but I guess there is. This is 10 times better. Even though it's like obviously a darker version of that, it is the same skin tone. That's really nice. And you can see the darker skin tones there being better reflected. This is such a good change. Very happy with that. It's more realistic. It looks cooler. And a lot of us are probably going to go back to using the bunny tights on our female characters or male characters. Transparency effects have also been increased for the following gear. The Valentione Rose and Forget-Me-Not gloves. The Acacia Ribbon gloves. Number 2 Type B leggings. Oh boy. So we've got more transparency on the most used leggings in the game. Lovely. And that applies to the Yorha Type 53 of casting, 55 of fending, 53 of maiming, and Gaia's attire. Wow. So the fishnet leggings on Gaia's attire, which should be not a one piece. Let me just say that. I wish it was separate pieces, as also had its transparency increase. That's nice. And then there's this huge section here. Character toe detail when wearing the following foot gear has been improved. So if you're into your toes, basically all of the sandals in the game and things like clogs, things that show your feet have been changed. Instead of me listing out this like machine gun-esque list, let's just show you an example. So this is before. As everybody knows that feet in this game look horrible. And this is after. They actually look somewhat like feet. I mean, the big toe's a bit strange. Like it looks a bit like a sausage. You know, you still can't really define much of the nails, but there's better than that. That looks like Minecraft Villager. That looks like, actually okay. That's not bad comparatively. Yeah. Let's stop looking at feet now. But yeah, if you're a feet person, if you're interested in that, you'll be pleased, right? The following additions and adjustments have been made to the tilt effect when moving. So this is a thing. So when you're flying, there's a new feature in Dawntrail where your mount tilts, it like leans. Now your character will do that as well. The only thing I can think of here is Naruto running around as a Lalafell ninja and then leaning into it as you're sprinting. Hopefully it's like that. We've not seen it demonstrated. So there is character tilt when turning. Character tilt when turning while riding a mount has also been added. So you lean into your chocobo. The speed at which certain mounts tilt when turning has been decreased. Okay. And the mount and character tilt can now be toggled on and off. So if you don't like it, you can go to character config, control settings, character tab, and then checking or unchecking the options under effects while in motion. So I can't wait to see what it looks like for characters. I hope it's cool. Vegetation in the following areas will now be rendered in high resolution. So there's before, which looks respectable, but now, ooh, the vegetation upgrades. I know some people have been critical about them. I think they're great, especially for streaming, because things no longer pop horribly at low bitrate as much as they used to. Let's see. So cities in 2.x areas, fields, housing areas, and instance events. Duties in 2.x areas, including dungeons, raids, and PvP. 6.x areas, Island Sanctuary. So Island Sanctuary has a lot of vegetation. So if it all looks like that, it's going to be interesting to have a walk through again. Additional areas will see adjustments in future updates. Nice. The following adjustments have been made to certain objects found in 2.x areas. The number of objects has been increased, polygon count has been increased, and the texture resolution has been increased. I wonder how many developers that work on Final Fantasy XIV who are still there from the 1.0 day would look at this and go, nightmare. You know what I mean? Because there used to be like vases in the game that had more polygons, a higher polygon count than the character models. So I wonder how many of them are like, wow, we can finally add back the detail that we wanted to have. I mean, this is significant as well. It's to public areas, cities, and fields, by the way. It says no changes have been made to the Gold Saucer, Kurthus, or Mordona. But look at this. Let's zoom in. This is impressive. So there's before, and this is what they wanted to do. Look at that. Like the ground clutter has been increased. And now look at that. There's a carpet that comes to life. All of those colors. You know, look at the grain. Completely different. It looks like grain rather than a sack of green and a sack of red. And the bag looks like a chimney, whereas it looks like a bag there. Incredible, isn't it? I love this. I know some of you are going to be like, I don't see much of a difference, blah, blah, blah. I think this is great. Same here with outdoors areas. This is huge. So before, very sort of pale pathway with like no vegetation. Wham. Wow. Actual foliage, moss, grass. Look at this dude. Look at the statue. Just a little bit of moss. Now he's like, I have plants in my face. It's great. Absolutely great. Even the lily pads are like super luminescent now. Yeah, if everywhere looks like this, it's going to be like another world tour. Let's just fly over the world and see what's changed again. Unbelievable. Amazing. And we've also got this. This is a great example of the number of shadows cast in rooms in the following areas has been increased. So before, so this is Kugana Castle, isn't it? In before one of the boss fights. So we've got this, and then this is probably, it's less noticeable. I think the thing that's most notable is here, right? This bit of tapestry work. Yeah. And the floor there. It's probably less notable than that. You know, that's more noticeable. But it's cool that they're increasing the fidelity of the game. And they say this affects 2.x areas, fields, this is for shadows, and instance duties, dungeons, raids, and PvP. I'm really glad that they're continuing with the graphics updates. I'm hoping one day we can see a full character redesign of character creation and customization. I'd like to see more face options. So maybe that's on the cards, because they're doing really well in the game. System then. Right, Going back to the serious stuff. In order to reduce server congestion, we'll be temporarily implementing multiple field instances for Tulialal, Solution 9, and the area newly added in 7.1, which presumably is Juno. We'll monitor server activity and remove this feature when congestion is determined to be no longer an issue. Okay. The number of multiple field instances implemented in 7.0 has been changed. So now Shaloni has 2 instead of 3. Heritage Found has 2 instead of 3. Cool. Urkapacha, Kozama Uka, Yaktal, and Living Memory will no longer be separated into multiple instances, so you won't be able to go and do multiple hunt marks in those areas per instance. And while using the S petition, earrings and necklaces currently being worn are now displayed when equipped is selected. That's actually huge, because sometimes you're trying to match something to a certain hairstyle, like an earring or a necklace, and they're not displayed. And sometimes you choose a hairstyle and then you go out of the menu after you've selected it and you've paid your gil for the change, and then you realize that your hair is clipping through the earring, and it's not a good time. So this is good. That's huge. The following additions and adjustments have been made to retainers. New items can now be obtained from quick exploration ventures. Very cool. And when summoning your retainer, the number of items and amount of gil entrusted are now displayed in a retainer menu. So you can easily see that without having to click the button. Very nice. Character combat voice samples have been removed from a character creation interface. Why? Character combat voice sample. Why? That was one of the coolest features about Dawntrail. Ha! Oh, I don't like that one. Oh! Okay, I'll have that one. Why? Why has that been removed? Okay, I need a reason for this. Can anybody come up with a reason? Because that was one of the coolest things about character creation. Does that mean you have to go into the game now and then change it? I don't like that. No, why? It was great. The following additions and adjustments are made to achievements, so there's new achievements and titles. As you can see, Tankless Job's been updated in 7.1. All of the tank achievements. You've got Yu Iwata, Jade Stower, Unreal, and the Minstrel's Ballads, Fiend's Burden added to those. An icon will now be displayed next to recently used Ethernet shards in the Ethernet window. That's cool. Recently used shards can now be selected with the Y or triangle button on a gamepad. Wow. Oh, that's really, really quick. Oh, that's going to make travel for console players or controller players a lot easier. The number of kills required for specific hunt marks is now displayed in the recommendations list. Another great idea that I couldn't have thought of myself. Like, whoever's thinking up these quality of life changes, really, really props to you. It was great. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the party list. Players can now adjust the position of their character within the list. Oh my goodness. Access this setting via party members found under party in the main menu. This is huge. I love that, because sometimes you have a set way that you want things to be. Now you can change the list. The appearance of players' numbered icons in the party list has been changed. Okay. Players can now use mouse drag and drop functionality for party list sorting. Adjust the settings via the party menu by selecting party members, then checking or unchecking enable mouse drag and drop for party list sorting. Oh, wow. That's cool. Cross-world parties can now be converted into in-world parties if all members are in the same area. Convert parties via the party menu by selecting party members, then selecting convert button. That's also a very, very good change. Oh, my goodness. The following categories can now be selected when recruiting for a cross-world party. A confirmation window is displayed when recruiting for this cross-world party. So fates, treasure hunts, and hunts. Nice. And a big one. Instant portraits can now be updated when updating or swapping gear sets. This is huge. If the gear shown in a saved instance portrait differs from what you have equipped after updating or swapping your gear sets, you can update your instant portrait via the displayed window. Adjust the setting by checking or unchecking the user's instant portrait option in the edit portrait window. When this setting is unchecked, your instant portrait will not be updated automatically. So you can make it so that it automatically updates your gear to your portrait. So more often than not, you like swap a ring out or you visor command your helm. Now you'll be able to just have it set. So more people will probably go into duties with fixed portraits. That makes the feature more usable. and I think is the best option they could have come up with. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that feature. So we've got new accents added to our portraits. This looks very much like PvP ones. Could be wrong, but that looks like, yeah, they both look like they could be rewards from a new series. PvP stuff. I love this one, though. That is beautiful. The crystal one. New poses have been added. This is an interesting one. Oh, right. It means to portrait mode. Oh, cool. I wonder what new poses have been added. New emote poses. New portrait accents for adventurer plates have been added. And there's new stickers. Look at that in group pose. So we've got Sabatender Neon. We've got the 14, like a 14 candle for Final Fantasy 14. We've got all of these different minions. Very nice. I like this frame as well. Actually, new stickers. The patch logo frame has been updated with 7.1 logo. When adjusting the roll angle settings, camera tilt and panning are now tied to roll angle settings by default. Roll angle settings are now reflected when applying certain effects. Very nice. Certain motions can be recorded and repeated at set intervals whilst fishing. So if you want to do fishing G pose, you actually can now, which is huge. Very cool. And that's a portrait picture. They're demonstrating that you can take portrait images now if you're on your phone or whatever. And the following additions and adjustments have been made to the currency window. So now there's categories, and you've got currency category, battle, etc. It says the Society's Dawntrail category has also been added, so makes things a little bit tidier. The mentor renewal period has ended. Players who have not renewed their certification after the release of 7.0 will no longer be mentors. However, they may be recertified provided they meet the current certification requirements. Once you've fulfilled the updated requirements, speak to the smith in Gridania, Limsa, or Uldar, in the Hall of the Novice, in Western Lenosha, and select Apply for Mentor Certification once again. Okay, cool. The chat log can now be repositioned by dragging and dropping from either edge of the tab. That's nice. And the following features are now be applied to Baldessian Arsenal, Castrum Lacus Littore, and the Dalriada when using the blacklist. If a blacklisted character is present, their name will be displayed as unknown, even if they're not a member of your party. Communications from blacklisted characters using Say, Yell, and Shout will display as a default message instead. You can obviously disable that temporarily via a corresponding subcommand as well. This is cool because the ignore feature, the blacklist feature, it works to some degree, not perfectly. They're working on it, but it didn't work in BA or CLL or Dalriada, so it's nice to see they've changed that. The following text commands have been added. This is interesting. So we've got attend, so that's a new emote. We've got water. This is actually to pour water on the ground. So you get a watering can. It's a new emote. Shake drink is the cocktail shake emote that I asked for. So that's getting added. And then ohokali, which is the Hanu Hanu greeting. So presumably you get that from the new Society quest. Very nice. The following options have been added to the character configuration menu. Obviously for character tilt and all that stuff. The hiding of party members, the HUD menu for duty. We've talked about this. This is new though. The following options have been added to system config. We've got display settings resolution presets in windowed mode for 2560 by 1440 and 3840 by 2160. And there's also other settings. Notify after a set time has elapsed since the last backup of system configuration. Okay. And title screen settings, title screen displayed on launch. Okay. The duty option under the HUD layout menu will now be set to on by default. Okay. And the following adjustments are made to data center travel system. When selecting an unavailable destination, the reason the world cannot be visited will be displayed, and less than 2 minutes and less than 3 minutes have been added as increments to the estimated travel time prompt. Cool. Additions have been made to the translation dictionary, additions to PS5 and Xbox autocomplete, new trophies and achievements, new music, sound effects, voices, English voice dialogue in certain scenes has been adjusted. That's interesting for 7.0. We'll have to see what they've done for certain scenes. maybe some of the scenes later in Dawntrail. The following additions have been made to character selection screen. The current data center world will now be displayed, and players can now change the data center via the world selection menu. So you don't actually have to go out and then go to the data center menu. There's just a button. That's so nice. That's such a good change. A prompt reminding players to create a backup has been added. This prompt is displayed if a backup for your settings has not been created in over 90 days. This setting can be adjusted by checking or unchecking the notify after a set time has elapsed since last backup under the System Config Backup in Other Settings tab of the System Config menu. Default is set to off, but if you want to have reminders, that's cool. That's nice. Character settings can now be copied to different characters. This is a huge feature. If you're like me and you have multiple alternate characters, I know it sounds weird to have that in a game like this, but the longer you play, the more you'll realize why alts are a thing. You can basically right-click and import your character settings from another character. So there was a way to do this previously, but you had to go into like your files and drag and drop things and rename things. It was messy. Now you can just right-click or subcommand and copy it over. So that's pretty cool. A list of 8 recently logged in characters will be displayed from which you may import settings. If a character you wish to import settings from is not listed, you'll need to log in with that character first, log back out, and then you can do it. And it says there, look, very cool. It even gives a time. The things that are copied are HUD layouts, hotbars, gear sets, character config, individual macros, and others. Wow, that's cool. So the way you've set out your HUD, this is great. I can't wait to do this for all of my alts at this point. The physical data center containing this selected logical data center is now displayed on the home world selection screen in the character creation interface. All right, so it just says where you're creating a character, the world, and the data center. Okay. The game logo and opening movie displayed when launching a game will now change according to the player progression through the MSQ. This is cool for people who are starting out their adventure in Eorzea, haven't played the game before. Every time they log in, if they're reaching a new point in the game, like Stormblood, they're going to have a new intro and a new logo. That's so cool. It's like reliving how I lived it every time we waited for an expansion. If multiple characters are present on the same server's account, the setting will be determined by the character who has progressed furthest. Okay, when first logging in after 7.1 releases, the game logo and opening movie of the most recent expansion you own will be displayed. This setting will take effect after logging in or out subsequently. Okay. Players can also choose to display the game logo and opening movie from a specified expansion upon launch. This setting can be adjusted via the title screen displayed on launch under the Other Settings tab of the System Config. You can only select from among expansions you own for the platform you're currently playing on, and a set title screen is displayed on free trial accounts. So, not only for new people, but if I really don't like Dawntrail's intro for whatever reason, like some of you have complained about the brightness, you could change it to Stormblood or something if you want to, or Heavensward. And with that comes the logo and the music. And you don't have to keep resetting that. It'll just remember it. Very nice, like that. Additionally, the launcher has been changed. So you can actually change the background of your Final Fantasy XIV launcher. This is really, really cool. You now can select which background you want to apply. It's a small thing, but you've got Kryl here, you've got Graha, you've got Wook-Lamart if you want Wook-Lamart on your launcher. Warrior of Light. Is that Erenville? That's cool. And then there's also the Dawntrail background. I think it's probably a toss-up between Graha and Kryl. I think Kryl probably wins. And also, some people have been very confused about this. This last point, the Buy Final Fantasy XIV Coins tab will be added at the menu at the top of the launcher. People are like, oh no, are they doing a WoW token system? No. On Xbox, you have the ability to purchase these coins, which then are used as the transaction to buy anything from a cash shop. Unfortunately, they don't have direct payment on the Xbox system to just pay for a sub or pay for items from a cash shop. They actually have to buy a coin on Xbox to then use that coin. It's only Xbox specific. This has nothing to do with anything else. So do not be worried about this. I've seen some weird knee-jerk reactions on social media. Don't worry about it. It's nothing that's changing the way the game works. It's just a thing for Xbox. And that leaves us to the end of these patch notes, or at least the first edition of them. There's some really big stuff in here. This has taken me a while to read through. I didn't want to skip past anything. We tried to summarize as much as we could. There's some really good bits from this. I do apologize if you don't like the longer videos. I'm sure you could have just skipped around. Yeah, but there's a lot of really cool stuff in here, and I'm really excited to dive into this. We'll be making like a lot of videos on lots of this. So if you're not interested in what we've just talked about, or you want me to talk more about certain things, then we will totally be doing that. But yeah, things to take from this: shake it emote. Oh, I'm so happy. Hopefully they'll listen to other feedback about wanting other emotes, because I'm super happy about that one. And I'm excited to collect all of the mounts, minions, collectibles, make videos on them, and do everything I physically can. Oh, and the housing stuff. This boxing ring, whoever designed that, you are a god amongst mortals. I love you. And the pool table's amazing as well. But yeah, really, really happy to see this stuff in the game. Anyway, let me know what you're most excited from the 7.1 patch notes. Are you just biting at the edge of your mouse at this point, waiting for the patch like me? Or are you kind of like, meh? I think a lot of people are waiting for the Echoes of Vana'diel content. That's going to be the main focus, isn't it? Anyway, much love. Enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.